What's the weirdest way you've ever gotten in trouble for sneaking out of the house? It was 11 p.m. on a Tuesday when my girlfriend Miranda texted me, "Want to come over? Parents are gone. I've got snacks and a new show." That sounded 1,000 times better than sitting in my room pretending to understand calculus. The problem? My mom had already banned weeknight hangouts after I bombed my last math test. Still, Miranda lived 10 minutes away, my mom usually went to bed around midnight, and I figured I could slip out, hang with her for a couple hours, and sneak back in before anyone noticed. Flawless plan. Except around 1 a.m., my phone started buzzing nonstop. 20+ messages from Mom. "Where are you? Why aren't you answering? Come home now." By the time the last one came through, I knew I was toast. By 3 a.m., I couldn't stall anymore. I told Miranda I had to head back and began the longest, slowest walk of my life. Every step felt like I was marching to my own execution. When I reached the house, the porch light was on. That was my mom's way of saying, "I know, and I'm waiting." My only shot was sneaking in through the back door and trying to play dumb in the morning. I crept around the yard, moving so quietly you'd think I was breaking into Fort Knox. Every twig snap sounded like an alarm. I finally reached the back steps, and just as I reached for the doorknob, my heart nearly exploded. The doorknob was already turning, slowly, carefully. Someone else was trying to get inside. We had a burglar. I grabbed the nearest weapon available, Mom's decorative garden gnome, and raised it above my head like I was about to fight for my life. The figure turned, and I froze. It was my dad. We stared at each other in stunned silence, both of us caught red-handed like two teenagers. His face cycled through shock, guilt, and finally a sheepish grin I'd never seen before. "What are you doing out here?" he whispered. "What are you doing out here?" I shot back. Turns out my dad hadn't been asleep at all. His buddy Trevor had texted him about some massive update for their favorite online game, so he had snuck out to Trevor's house to play. My 52-year-old father had ditched his bed, his wife, and his responsibilities to play video games at 1 a.m. like he was back in high school. We both realized how doomed we'd be if Mom found out. Two fugitives, different crimes, same sentence, lifelong grounding. We stood in the yard, whisper fighting like idiots. "You can't tell Mom," he hissed. "You can't tell Mom!" I shot back. We looked at each other for a long moment, then he reached into his wallet, pulled out a $20 bill, and handed it to me. "You never saw me tonight. I never saw you tonight. Deal?" I pocketed the cash and shook his hand. It felt less like father and son and more like two criminals sealing a pact. The next morning at breakfast, Mom asked how we both slept. In perfect unison, we said, "Great." That was the mistake. We said it too fast, too cheerful, too rehearsed. Mom froze, spatula in hand, and narrowed her eyes at us. "You both slept? Great," she said slowly. "Yeah," Dad said, trying to sound casual. "Best sleep I've had in weeks." "Same," I added, nodding too hard. For 10 agonizing seconds, she just stared at us. Then she shrugged, flipped a pancake, and went back to cooking. Dad and I exchanged the quickest glance, relief flooding both our faces. We thought we'd gotten away with it. But here's the thing about moms. They always know. That Saturday, Mom announced a family project. No warning, no explanation. She handed me a rake, handed Dad a shovel, and pointed to the backyard. "We're redoing the garden," she said. "All day, no breaks." 8 hours later, covered in dirt and sweat, Dad leaned over and whispered, "She knows." I whispered back, "She definitely knows." And that was the moment we realized the $20 bribe bought us a couple days of freedom, but Mom had collected interest.